last looked around June 26th. Lots of green grass at that time. And this is paddock number 3. Now, I ran the cattle in there for about 4 days before the 26th of June. It was still a lot of standing grass in there, but now you can see it's all brown. Not very much green grass in there at all. We're headed up here to the corner where that lovely walnuts tree stands by itself in paddock 5, corner paddock 5. And we're going to take a look at paddock number 4. I haven't had any cows in there in almost 60 days. We'll see how the grass is looking in there. That's the bale of hay I put out, but they didn't eat much of it. Park the buggy up here in the shade. So we came up here, take a look at this corner. Of course, this is where we get over this electric fence, and then go take a look at paddock number 4. That's number 5 right there. We had a lot of green grass in there a week ago. You can see it's very stressed right now. There is still some green to it. And this is paddock number 4. Now, the cows haven't been in here for over a month. I purposely kept them off of it just because it's not one of the best paddocks around. And as you can see, it's got a little length, but this hot, dry weather we're having right now is not very good on these paddocks. I don't know. I guess at this point, I might be better off holding the herd. I'm getting ready to break them up into 3 different groups. I may just put them in a paddock someplace where they got water and put out some hay and let them sit till we get some rain, because what you see right here is very, very, very dry. I doubt that there's a lot of nutrient value in it being so dry. So I think what we'll end up doing is I'll station them in 3 different paddocks, and we'll keep them there for at least 20 days. I think a bale of hay will last them all the better part of a week, maybe 2, for 6 cows and a bull, or 4 cows and a bull. Got the calves with them though, we got to remember that. Okay, so this is paddock 7 and 8 on the east side of that ridge. This is what we mowed for hay. And to be honest with you, we're not seeing a whole lot of regrowth, so I may not set up the hot wires in here and do any rotation until the fall. I am going to try to move them down here where this lake is at. You can see there's a little regrowth growing on in there. And I'm going to put a hot wire around the lake to keep them out of it. I will give them some access to the lake for drinking water, but that's it. They're not going in there to wade around in that lake. That's our fishing lake. So there's Paddock 7 over there. Cows will come around through Paddock 5 and 6, and there's a green gate back there in the corner. They'll come through there, and then I'll start them in a rotation through here. There's 7 paddocks, so depending on how much grass is in them, they'll either be there for a full day in each paddock or a half day. We got shade here, but again, you can see out there, there's no shade. So when the weather gets hot, there's not very many clouds. I try to get the cows in areas where there's some shade so they don't get overheated. Good morning, this is July the 21st. I thought I'd give you an update, let you see what the drought conditions are right now. We had a little bit of rain about 5 days ago, 1/10 of an inch, which just barely stayed around. There's 2 of the little calves. I moved the Buster's herd into the corral this morning. Cow 411, she has pink eye, and while it looks better this morning, I'm going to run her through the head chute and give her another dose of, I think it's called Tulane. It's an antibiotic, I believe, for the pink eye, and we'll see that if that won't help her out a little bit. But as you can see down here, the grass situation is pretty dire. This is underneath the tree, so it's actually got a little green to it. But they're not going to eat very much of it because this is their lounging area. And if you get out here where there's no trees, you'll notice that the green is less, and we're not getting any regrowth at all. Of course, they've been in here for over 10 days now. I'm hoping we get a little rain in about 4 days, and I'm going to start them on a rotation. Let's go up here and we'll take a look at paddock number 3. That's where the cows are standing up there in the corner. That's Pokey and his herd. So this is Pokey's herd. They're down here in this corner because there's some shade. The only shade they get in this paddock is what's along that tree line over there. But early in the morning like this, sun's down low and there's absolutely no shade. So they're going to take advantage of this corner, I suppose, about as long as they can. There's Pokey, or the back end of him anyway. He's staying close to the girls too, doing his job, I hope. He knows what it is. So let's go over the fence here and take a look at the paddock and see what kind of condition it's in. So we'll take a little walk up here to the corner. Let me narrow down here at the ground a little bit and let you take a look at the condition of the grass. Now, Pokey and his crew have been in here for 10 days or so. They're on their second bale of hay. I supplemented them with what was in here. Again, this is one of our winter paddocks a couple of years ago. And this is where they stayed for a little bit. earlier this spring while we were waiting for regrowth. And now they've been in here for a little while. I also left them in this paddock while we were going to Virginia on vacation. Well, not on vacation, but to go to my grandson's graduation. As you can see over there in the bale ring, they've ate down pretty much that bale. I'm hoping to move them out of here in we're talking rain in 4 days maybe, so that'd be like Sunday evening, Monday, and I'm going to start them on rotation. I know the grass is pretty pitiful where they're going, but I think there's a little bit of stockpile. They haven't been in most of these paddocks up here for over 45 days, maybe closer to 60, so there's some stuff in there. We'll let them eat it. I'm going to rotate them through, not too quickly, depending on what's in the paddock. There's some pretty good stockpile. They'll spend the whole day. If not, they'll spend about a half a day. Now this is the corner of paddock number 5. And as you can see, this is the stockpile I was talking about. And it's not too bad, but you know, it's stressed, that's for sure. The one thing about these paddocks up here on this ridge is there is absolutely no shade. So with these 100-degree temperatures, I've been trying to keep them where they can get some shade, and they've got water and they got a little feed. This is paddock 4 over here. We're going to go over the wire here. I'll step over it and I'll show you the condition of it. This is probably the worst of the paddocks. It has a slow regrowth. It never gets very tall. It's not bad feed. It's got Lespedeza in it, hop clover, red clover, white clover. All of those are small quantities other than maybe the hop clover. You can see this is the place where they ate on. And like I said, they haven't been in here for at least 45 days. And you can see that just absolutely poor regrowth in this paddock. And I'll walk over here and we'll see paddock, what I call 4C, because this is paddock 4. It's got 4 smaller 1-acre paddocks in it. And 4C actually is one of the better quads in number 4. It typically has more fescue in it. It's thicker. I'm not real sure why, but as you can see, it is in much better shape than paddock 4D that we just came out of. Now I'm going to walk down here and we're going to take a look at this, what I call the northwest grazing corner. All right, this is 4D, or 4C rather. And I'm going to pan around, and right there is the 1-wire electric fence. And here is that northwest corner grazing paddock. You can see, now they were in here 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. And you can tell just looking at this that there has been absolutely no regrowth. Of course, I left them in here to hit this thing pretty hard, so that's probably my fault. But you can see what they like and what they don't like. Now there's a lot of buckbrush down in here. I mowed it earlier and I did a video on that called, and so it's topped out again, leafed out. Probably should put the brush hog on and come back down here and mow it down again while it's hot. Hit it a little bit. Now we're going to go over here and I'm going to show you paddock number 6. So this is paddock 6A. Pretty sparse, but, and you can see, I'll get down here and let you look at that. Get a better angle at it, maybe. So the recovery, pretty slow. I think a lot of these grasses that grow in these paddocks up here on this ridge are what you would call definitely cool weather grasses. So we don't get a lot of regrowth when the weather turns hot. It's probably, about 10% broom sedge in here. It was worse than that a few years back. I've been working on trying to improve that. We've fertilized and soil tested this field. It probably needs to be hit again with some phosphate or potash, something. I don't care too much for putting the nitrogen on, but the other soil amendments are probably necessary to keep some of that broom sedge down. And this is paddock 6B. It's one of the slower regrowth paddocks, along with 6C, which is over there in that corner. So there's some grass in here. I'm going to try doing a rotation, try to take care of it so that it's ready for some regrowth once we start getting some moisture. Again, I'm going to have to keep an eye on things. I may end up having to sell some cattle this fall. If I do that, I'm going to do it after we've preg checked the cows, and then I'll determine what bulls I keep, what cows we keep, and if I keep any of the heifers that have been bred. So we'll see. This here is paddock 6D, and as you can see, them cows have hit it pretty hard, but there's just no regrowth. I haven't had cows really in rotation for, I'm going to say over a month now. I kind of rotated the full herd through here like half days just to get them in position to have them at the corral so I could separate the herds and put them with the bulls for breeding season. So let's hope we get some rain here in the next few weeks. It's showing a long-range forecast of possibility of rain for about 7 days next week. So let's see if we can't get at least 1/4 of an inch, 3/10 of an inch out of that. It sure helped this grass. So let's go over here and look at another paddock. Okay, this is paddock 7C. Cows were in here, I think July the 2nd. You can see there's very little regrowth going on. This paddock was pretty thin when I moved them in here. It's got cool season grasses in here, but this is not the cool season, so they don't do much regrowth. When we bring the cows through rotation, this is going to be one of the last paddocks they come into. If we get a little rain, maybe we'll get some regrowth. I doubt it. So when I move them through here, they're only going to be in here long enough to get them to move to the next paddock, which is 2D over there where those trees are located. And this is paddock 7D. You see it's got a little bit more grass in here. I don't quite understand why. The cows are in here also. I usually keep them in for like a half a day. But it's in a little better shape, so when they come in here, they'll find a little bit more grass. Well, it definitely is hot and dry, and I hope you see what's going on here in Missouri, and hope your state's doing a little bit better. But we really haven't got a lot of green grass for these cows to be eating.